Hello and welcome to this live Infusion video. I was watching a pro football, well, you can't call it a game. It was a exhibition of not particularly high quality. And my father was saying on the phone, "That's not even trying. They're not even tackling. They're just barely pushing each other out of bounds." I said, "Yeah, they're jogging around." And we have the terrible news about Kobe Bryant being killed in a helicopter crash. So that's the big news. And terrible news. Anybody dies, and especially gets attention when it's a big sports star or celebrity. So, my father and I were talking about the Big Bopper and Richie Valens and our buddy Holly and their terrible plane wreck from 61 years ago. Okay, so we have, well, let's get back to this. You say you have a fork. What are you going to eat? No, you'll see. You know what I'm going to do with it. All right, so I've got the natural ice. I can get Keystone $1 less per 30 pack. But I've been drinking a lot of Keystone, so I said, let me go switch over to natural ice for a little while, even though it's $1 more. Anyway, Circle K didn't have the price keyed in correctly. They got on the sales sticker, like a promotional, 2 15 packs, $7.99 a piece. I said, okay. Well, you don't have to buy two. It's just, I'll buy two to make a 30, but it's $7.99 a piece, Keystone Light or Ice. If you look at their website, they no longer carry, it's no longer listed on their website, the Keystone Premium. The red label say might have dropped it. They may as well drop it. Nobody can get it. They're replacing it with a new Keystone flavored beer. Oh, wow. Fruit flavored beer. Hey, Ron, you mixing beer with liquor? Yeah. So I've done these infusions before, Ronnie. I would use StreamYard, but they got the limits on how many hours and okay. Anyway, this is King Robert II. Not exactly the greatest thing. Not the worst, but it's sort of bland. I did a taste challenge this morning, if you want to call it a challenge. More like a tasting event between King Robert II and the champion, Johnny Walker Red Label. It is the champion, as evidenced by the fact that it's the #1 selling Scotch whiskey of any sort, single malt, single grain, or blended in the world. And I think it deserves it because there's a clear winner. It's a savory, adorable product. Do they get better up the line? You would assume. You go up the price point, you assume they're going to get better. I can't say for sure. I've never tried the other ones. I intend to. But King Robert II is mainly, this base model is it's no age statement, but you would figure about 3 years. On the website, they say it's aged longer than normal. What does that mean? I don't know. Maybe it's 4 years, maybe 5. I don't know. They don't say. Seem like they would say. But anyway, so this is a huge jug bottle. I don't mind using some of this because then, you know, I have enough left for many taste challenges. It's dark. It seems unusually dark. So we'll pour a little in and not much at all. What, an ounce and a half? Should do fine. Why is it so dark? Well, you know why? Because it's probably colored with caramel color. That's a common practice in Scotland, Ireland, Canada, and the United States to color liquor with caramel color to make it darker. Would we, as the video review people, rather it to be the natural color? Well, yeah, we would. It'd be very light, maybe almost colorless. But see, it doesn't appeal to the consumers. They want the color. Coca-Cola is not naturally brown. They add caramel color to make it brown. Remember years ago, they sold the untouched ones that were clear and people didn't want them. Even though it was the same product, just minus the color, and coloring doesn't add the flavor generally. No more Northern Lights, not for a few months. That'll just be in the taste challenges as a challenger, not as the featured product. So we'll mix this up with the fork. And now the fork is dripping with the foam, the lacing. I'll be right back. I get the suspicion that oftentimes beers are colored. But because they don't taste like they look. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to name the brands because some people get hostile, they get upset. One guy was telling me that particular beer is not colored. And I said, well, how do you know that? He claimed he had proof, but I never saw anything definitive. Oh, I heard somebody say it. I heard somebody say it. It's not a credible source. I'm sorry. It may be true. Okay, let's see. What's the ideal temp for a beer? Jim R says, well, that would depend on the type of beer you're drinking. Like the Imperial Stout I had this morning, the CBS, which is flavored beer. That's the big thing these days, flavored beer. If you don't like flavored beer, you're in the wrong decade. You're in the wrong couple of decades. That one, it does better as it warms. I don't mean hot, but, it warms. It does better. A beer like this, ice brewed lager, yeah, you want it so cold. What to put about a shot into the beer? Yeah, I've actually put less than that shot. Hi, Jay, says JoJo. Hey, JoJo. Thanks for watching. So I mixed it up, or as Jack Daniels would say, I mingled it. I love flavored beer. Ronnie says, I love flavored beer. Then you do not understand beer, sir. Okay. Smell. I'm not really detecting any difference. I know Natural Light is sort of a standard aroma. I like Natural Light and Keystone Ice. Some people will talk about how trash it is. I don't believe it's trash. It's not. I gave the CBS a 100 over 100. Well, this is not a 100 out of 100, but it's not it's around 90. You say 90 for a $17.99 30 pack? Yeah, I think it is. You say, nah, it's not one of the top 20 beers in America because of the flavor. It's because of marketing. Marketing? You ever seen anything for Natural Ice aside from some point of sale tag? I haven't. It's the price point. Yeah, of course. Anyway, so the aroma hasn't changed. Dude, I've been doing well, okay. Beer Hound Bill, I'll have a beer in the name of Kobe tonight. Yeah, you're in LA area, so you're south of LA, but I know that's a big story there. It's big here, but there it's like the huge. Han says Natural Ice is my go-to beer when I can't afford nothing else. Ronnie, yes, the Natural Ice seltzers are good. Imagine a Natural Ice seltzer. I haven't tried the light seltzers. I haven't been motivated to try. I'm a sub, says Alan. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I see them around. I could get the seltzers like with no effort whatsoever, and with not much money. And yeah, I'll get the views, but I don't really chase views, and I don't chase subs. I appreciate the views naturally. I appreciate the subscribers, of course, but I don't chase them. I never have. You never hear me saying those catchphrases. I figure people have enough sense. If they like it, they'll subscribe. If they don't, they won't. If they get tired of it, they'll unsubscribe. It's not complicated. Dude, you're tripping me out. Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, so here we go. No difference. Natural Ice is a great beer, even though people downplay that beer. It's better than Ice House. Better than Ice House. I wouldn't go along with that. I don't think it's better than Ice House. I just think it's different. It has more body maybe and a little more character because of the slightly elevated ABV, 5.9 versus 5.5. But I started drinking Ice House in 1996 when I started this beer project in 96, just to try different brands. Really, that's the whole channel. It's not to achieve any great goal. Just say, let me try this, let me try that, And if I don't feel motivated to try it, I don't. Like the seltzers. I mean, that's, if I was, like I said, if I was chasing subs and views, I'd be running to get the seltzers. You think I would have reviewed Crown Royal by now after nearly 10 years and at least 5 years of doing liquor reviews? I'm pretty sure that would be the key. You know, you don't go find some obscure brand here, obscure brand there of liquor that nobody cares about, that you get a minimal amount of viewers. No big deal. No big deal, you know. It's just kind of like you have a window on what I'm interested in. And I am interested in Crown Royal. I just haven't gotten around to it. I have a bottle. I'm going to do it. But like that goes back to the original point. If I was chasing the views, and I would have done the big boys first, not last. Okay, but enough of that. I'm not getting anything here aside from Keystone Ice. Natural ice. And don't fool yourself. Natural ice tastes nothing like Keystone Ice. They're similar, but they don't taste the same. So when people tell you, oh, it's all the same, it isn't all the same. I don't think it's all. I never thought it was all the same. All right. Well, let's get off of that stuff. Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? Grinder. What do you mean nobody cares about Northern Lights? Well, I can't say nobody cares. You know, I'm just speaking in a general term. Practically no one cares. You understand? But I enjoyed the experiment. To me, it's cool. You know, I mean, I don't know why I have this weird attraction to obscure products. I just do. Okay. How many people you seen did videos for Palo Viejo rum? Exactly. Nobody. I don't think there's one video for it. All right. Well, let's fix this problem. We like comments, but we like them to be, you know, like kind of somewhat related to the video. Okay. I like the mid-70s Chevrolet Chevelles, but I really wouldn't talk about it here if it had no relationship to it. Have you ever done a video on when and how you first started reviewing? Was an idea you always had? I've never done a video like that because I never really do vlog video log type things because I never watch those things. Like I watch a lot of beer reviews, an incredible amount. I'm subscribed to so many people. And probably 80% or more of who I'm subscribed to don't even produce any content anymore and haven't for years. But, you know, I'll subscribe to them, whatever. So, and then they'll make vlogs. A lot of them make vlogs like our trips, our camping trip or whatever. I'm not against it. I'm just not interested in it. I don't know the people. Even my own family. I mean, I have relatives, like if they went on a camping trip or like went up to their deer hunting camp in Alabama and made a video about, I probably wouldn't watch it. It would be nice. Like I would like it, but I wouldn't really watch it. And the funny thing on Facebook, people will put like 40 photos. They will go to Disney World. And one day they'll put like nobody's going to watch that. You know, they don't really watch 40. They don't look at 40 vacation photos. You're interested in it because you went there. What I do is I may put 2 photos a day. Then people look at them and they'll make comments or they'll ignore them, whatever. But and so over if I took 30 photos, I'll post them over a 15-day period. And then you look at them. You're not like bogged down looking at these photos. You only have a tangential interest in. Like our visit to Dixie Brewery. I took photos. I'm not going to post them all in one day. This was a failure. King Robert II is a mixer, but I would say it's only used to get the 40 proof in it, in your drink. It's so bland in the flavor that it doesn't add anything. If I did Johnny Walker Red Label, yeah, it would add a lot to this, or the 100 Pipers. But then I feel like I'm wasting them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to use that Johnny Walker for the taste challenges, not to infuse into natural ice. So this one I would consider a failure. The King Robert, maybe I didn't add enough, but I'm not really a big boozy person. I won't be drinking all the time. So, and people misinterpret of me drinking regularly as drinking heavily. See, like yesterday, perfect example. Jean-Pierre could testify. He's a witness. We were out there for 10 hours. I drank a third of a Magnum malt liquor, which was very overpriced, but that's another story. It was fine. And I drank water the rest of the day. And then we went to David's house and I drank a third of a 12-ounce Imperial Stout, but it was only a third of a 12-ounce, 4 ounces. And then, it was a bomber. So let's think. Okay, 7 ounces. And then we tasted some whiskey, but we talked about a little taste. So nothing, but he wanted to keep doing it. Let's go, go, go. I said, no. I'm driving home. So drove home 30 minutes, no problem. Jean-Pierre didn't really care because he was taking the bus. So that was the reason he took the bus. So if he drank too many, he could just sleep on the bus. And that's exactly what he did. I agree with them. Jay, you're a real one. A real what? Okay. I see. I like D-Rock as I like that you review the budget beers and not just the big boy brands. That's what turned me onto your channel. Oh, thank you. That was my approach from the first day. I wanted to do that. And some other reviewers kind of spurred me on to do this channel because back in 2009 and 10, actually 2010, because I never knew they had video reviews until 2010. I actually didn't know they had them. The approach of some of them was sort of like they were biased, like they were already judging the beer before they opened it. And I didn't like that approach because they were saying, I'm going to review this natural ice, or they would say Milwaukee's Best, this garbage beer. And I'm thinking, well, you haven't even reviewed it. And they admitted they never tried it before. It's like, why are you calling it garbage? You never tried it. Like, I can see if you tried it and it tasted terrible and you call it garbage. Okay, fair enough. But so I thought, I'm not really seeing, I saw some of that. There were some people that were very fair and gave good reviews. Unfortunately, most of them quit. Almost all of them quit. I'm talking about 10 years ago. And so I tried to encourage them to keep going, but that didn't work. Not the camping one, the budget beer comment. I'm sorry. That's okay. So yeah, but back to the vlogs. I don't do that because I've done little clips, like when I go on vacation and I'll be in an interesting swamp or the desert in West Texas. I might record like a little 40-second clip, just kind of interesting there. And people watch that and they like it. But some people go on vacation and make like a 40-minute video. And some people love watching that. They love it. It's like reality TV, which it probably is more real than reality TV because that's usually scripted and like pro wrestling. So, but yeah, I'm just mainly focused on the products, So this one is fine. The natural ice is good. It's worth the $17.99 a 30-pack. The King Robert II, I mean, it's fine. $18.99 for this big bottle. Trying to think. Scotch, $18.99. Yeah, you could do better because you could get Clan McGregor for the same price. Now, that's a plastic bottle, so some people have a problem with that. I can understand that. But Clan McGregor is way better than that. Clan McGregor would have added character to this. Clan McGregor has an interesting peatiness, some smoke, not so much smoke, but peatiness. So even like a waxy quality. So I was kind of worried. Honestly, I'll try to be honest. Like before I made this video, I was thinking, do I really want to use King Robert? Because it's so bland. I think it's not going to do anything to this. And as it turns out, I was right. It didn't. But why was I using it? Because it's a big bottle and I don't care if I waste it. I mean, you know what I mean? Use it. A Clan McGregor, I'd be reluctant to use it. 100 Pipers, I'd be even more reluctant to use it. Oh, what do you do with the other 2/3 of the stout? Well, I didn't do anything. David drank the other third, and then Jean-Pierre drank the other third. And then David's lady friend came over. later, and then they were drinking more, and I don't know what they were drinking, but they were sitting around, they were doing all kind of tasting, whatever. That's what they do. That's just what they do, you know. The video from Mexico were cool. Oh yeah, those were cool. That was a cool trip. Like, but they were short, you know, short and sweet, no long drawn out video. That was when I went to that really obscure, back to obscure, right? I went to Ojinaga, which is in Chihuahua, Mexico. Yeah, how you like that? The name of the state, Chihuahua. Oh, that is so far out, and you got to drive, first of all, hundreds of miles out into the desert in Texas. All right, you see sand and gravel and cactuses. You know, like you see in these movies, and mountains everywhere, right? Pretty big mountains. Then you got to get off of US Highway 90, the major highway, and get on another one, a north-south highway called 67, which goes a pretty long way up north somewhere, and then down to the Mexican border, 67. And I mean, you just be by yourself. Okay, and then you got to go through these mountains, so it's pretty yeah, well, I'd be terrified driving through there in the rain or in fog. I mean, I wouldn't do it. And you're like, and there's this little bitty, if you want to call it a village, it really isn't a village. But that's where the Supreme Court Justice died when he was out there hunting. I was like, wow, you're really alone out here. And then all of a sudden you get to the end of the road. There's a town in Texas. And it's like, wow, there's a downtown area where people live and shop. We're talking about a few blocks. But I was thinking, what would it be like to live out there? Here's a town. There's like a town like you see on TV, regular thing, but it's so isolated. And then I crossed to Ojinaga, and there were people from Texas crossing over to go. Like they had this grocery store that sold like a lot of meat, and they were buying it for some reason. And I guess they know the border guards pretty well, so their crossing is like, it's nothing. They cross every day, maybe. They know them, so they just come back and forth. No problem. Me, they were a little more curious, like, why are you taking all these photos? And I told the guards, I said, well, I'm just taking tourist photos. But they get very suspicious, and they said, well, did you take photos of us? I said, no. Well, let me see your camera. So they wanted to, I said, well, there you go. I showed them. There's the photos. They looked at them. They looked at the videos. Here you go. They said, there's nothing to see over there. I said, I know. I assume that, but I just wanted to visit this town. It's so out of the way. But they thought it was very strange that somebody would want to go there. I said, oh, just checking it out. They were like, okay. And you can drive 80 miles an hour out there. That's the speed limit. When you get west of the Pecos River, the speed limit is 80 on a 2-lane highway, 80. There's no 4-lane out there. It's so... You don't need 4-lane. It's nobody driving except motorbike might zoom by, but 80 miles an hour, you can go fast. You can get places fast, So I walked around that town, like Ronnie's saying, I took photos, and you hear dogs barking at people doing work. And I went in that grocery store. And you see, when you go to Mexico, you think, oh, I'm going to buy all this Mexican beer. Nah, forget that. First of all, when you cross back into Texas, you got to go and pay taxes on all this beer. The Texas Tax Bureau. So any money you saved is gone. And secondly, they don't really drink Mexican beer aside from Corona and Bud Light. So and I know people from Mexico tell you that, if you go to, they drink a Bud Light. And people say crazy things like nobody in Mexico drinks Corona. And I'm like, really? Because everywhere I go in Mexico, that's what they're drinking. It's just fantasies people have. So you can find some weird brands like I wanted to get that Superior Black. It's a black lager, Superior. But of course, when I went to Mexico at that time, it was a Sunday, and they don't sell beer in that part of Mexico on a Sunday. The whole day, no beer. I'm like, gee whiz, like Arkansas. So I couldn't get it. Oh, well, I was irritated. You can't get that anywhere in the United States, Superior Black. Oh, Presidio, Texas. Yeah, Presidio. Oh, there used to be some kind of fort out there or something. There's another highway that goes to Big Bend National Parks, a state highway, 170. I was too scared to ride on that. That's really remote. I should have, though. It's right along the Mexican border. Probably kind of cool. Looking at this map. Okay. All right. So this beer is good, and that Scotch is not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. If you want to buy it, go ahead and buy it. Don't expect a whole lot of flavor. Would I buy it again? No, indeed, I wouldn't buy it again. I'm going to buy a lot of other different Scotches. Okay, back to Ronnie. Did you do any trio reviews with Jean and David? Everybody calls him Jean, the English pronunciation. But actually, he pronounces it Jean. His family pronounces it Jean because they're from France, not France, Haiti. Haiti used to be part of France. Jean. Around here in Louisiana, people wouldn't know it's Jean. They would say Jean. They would say Jean, not Jean. Like if your last name was Robert, they would say Robert. 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 But they say Robert. Okay. No beer on Sunday? Sounds boring. Yeah, it is. No beer on Sunday is un-American, said Ronnie. Buy some tequila. I've actually never tried tequila except in those pre-mixed drinks. I tried a pre-mixed tequila from cut something. I can't remember what it's called. They sell them at Mathern's. Somebody sent it to me, but he shouldn't have because I could get it at Mathern's. That was interesting. It was pretty good. I bought this tequila in New Orleans yesterday. That's why I keep asking you. Oh, yeah, because you want me to try it. Before I get off of this, because I have a really exciting music video, a music thing coming up. It's going to be pretty major, so I don't know if you're going to want to watch it. It's pretty heavy, loud rock and roll. You say, oh, you do all that soft rock. I have done much soft rock, but this is going to be pretty bombastic. So you might say, I ain't watching that. I don't want my ears melting for an hour. Yeah, it's going to be so loud and obnoxious. You know, you didn't answer the trio review question. You just talked about Gene's name. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting early onset. I shouldn't joke about that. Yeah, we did trio videos. Jean and David, myself. It's going to be a while before I post them. We're so backlogged on videos. We've been recording videos like we're crazy, you know, like David is like, let's review this, let's review that, let's review this, let's review that, let's review this, let's review that, let's review this, let's review that. I'm like, where does this end? You're like, do you have an insatiable appetite to review beers? Well, the answer is yes. I do, and he does. So it's like it's not a sickness, but it's a problem for the channel because I don't like to do but one video a day, at the most two. I'm talking about reviews because people are like, I don't want to see all that. So my backlog is craziness. Sorry, I didn't answer the question. Okay, now before I shut this off, if you want to see some of the things I bought in New Orleans yesterday, let me know now or forever hold your andouille sausage because I'm going to do the major music video. Talking about andouille, I had some today. And I had the rest of it. It's all gone. I got to make my way to southeastern Louisiana. Yeah, you'd probably like it. It's different. I still know some people that speak French. I don't. Nobody. My grandparents were ashamed of French. Crazy, huh? My grandmother said, I don't speak French. But this lady that I know said, your grandma does speak French. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, when you went to school, I was talking French to her. But see, that's how my grandmother was. She would like be embarrassed of it. Like my great grandparents, well, yeah, they all could speak fluent French, you know, and even their English, like when they would speak, I could understand them, you know, because I knew them, I grew up with them. But other people, maybe you or the viewer, if you met them, you would be like, what is that person saying, you know? It's very like a thick accent because they grew up speaking French. They never spoke English till they went to elementary school, and they used to get in trouble for going to school speaking French. So that, I think that's why my grandmother was ashamed. Like they the whole state of Louisiana was like major assimilation. So they were saying in the 1920s when my grandmother was going to elementary school, yeah, they were assimilated. They were saying, forget French. We don't live in France. That's the past. So you need to just throw that away. And that was the whole approach for 50 years. French, die French. I'm talking about the language. So if they caught you speaking French at school, they would actually whip you, with a paddle. We're going to beat it out of you. So my grandmother, they just would claim they didn't speak it. But I didn't believe it, or I did, my grandfather too, like, oh, we don't speak that, but his parents, they all, of course, did. And I still remember being a child, let's say the 1970s. Now we're talking about over 40 years ago. We would be driving around, going somewhere, and you would stop to use the bathroom, and all the people in the bar would be talking French. Everybody, and you go down there, everybody would speak French. You couldn't understand them, and even today, when I go sometimes to these meetings, Knights of Columbus, these older men in their 70s, they talk in French to each other. Blah, 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 blah. And then they act suspicious, like they wondering if you can understand them, like they're always thinking, you listening in. Of course, they do have French radio stations here. And I guess if you want to listen to them talk French, All right. I know a man from France. Denis. I'm sorry, not Dennis, Denis. I say Dennis, but he moved. I say, why you moved to Vacherie? Cow pasture. That's what the town means, cow pasture. I say, why you moved to Vacherie? Vache, la vache, the cow. He said, oh, I moved to Vacherie so I can talk French to the people when I get off of work. I said, they got that many people in Vacherie speak French. What are you talking about? He tells me, what are you talking about? All the people speak French in Vacherie. I said, okay, Dennis. He's like, he's getting angry. I asked him that question. So there he is over there across the river. Go tell everybody, bonjour, monsieur, and everything. Progressive politicians of the early 1900s killed what the European immigrants were used to. Right, because they wanted them to be white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, So in the state of Louisiana had progressive governors from the 1890s all the way to today. So they say, you don't need to speak French. Forget that language. That's the past. And then, so now how many people in Louisiana speak French today? Maybe 100,000, maybe 100,000. It used to be half the state. And we have 4.5 million people. And really, the newspaper used to be in French in this parish. I have old copies of the newspapers in French. And they would have an English translation for, the out of town people, especially after World War I. Yeah. French culture, you're right. French culture is beautiful. I like French culture. I've never been to France. Now I'm getting off of this and we're going to do some rock and roll now. Oh, by the way, I bet you don't know. I bet you, the viewer, don't know that France still owns 2 islands in Canada. Even to this very day. And people live there and they have towns and they have seafood restaurants and they have fishing villages and they have. And it's still part of France today. And it has been part of France since the days of the explorers. You could win some money behind that because it's called not Acadia. That was lost in the war. But Saint Pierre and Miquelon, after France lost the war, they kept, every time they always lose. France would always lose. So, but they said, well, that's it. You lost everything. So they said, oh, well, could we keep Saint Pierre and Miquelon for the fishing? Because they wanted some fishing camps there so they could bring, because they used to bring so much back to France and make money, and they still do. So the British said, oh, well, okay. Can't have military stuff there. Right, Saint Pierre and Miquelon. So they say, oh, we're not using it for military. So there you go. You can go there today, and you're not in. You say, oh well, that's not really France. No, literally, it is France. Uh-oh, something wrong with this heater. Guess I'm gonna have to buy a new one. Sound like it's well, you know, they die out. All right, been a beautiful heater though. After 1763, a lot of French people moved from Louisiana to Acadia. No, you mean from Acadia to Louisiana? Yeah, it was even before 1763 because they got kicked out during the war. The British told them get out. Right, never right near Newfoundland, Canada. That's right, Saint Pierre, Miquelon. Always wanted to go there. It's part of France. It's like it would be like saying Hawaii is not part of the United States because it's not in America. I know Hawaii's in Polynesia, but it's part of the United States. Okay, they were deported. That's right. Yep. Told them either sign a pledge of allegiance to King George or get out. They said, well, we're not going to do that. I mean, some did. They were like, we don't even care about all these politics. But a lot of the French, most of the French people said, we're not going to take an oath of allegiance to King George. We can't stand that guy, you know. They said, okay, no problem, didn't get out. So they kicked them out. Oh, man. I'm going to unplug that heater. Thing was burning up. So you have a fire. It was a fire, I guess. Well, so much for that one. Lasted years. Great heater. C'est la vie. C'est la vie. Oh, I had it backwards. All right, so that's it. Enough jibber jabber. Well, you have to do jibber jabber when you have this video because the beer, there's nothing to say about here. Nothing happened. It's like all that buildup and nothing happened. Right. It's like dead note. The beer is good. The Scotch, nah, nothing. Nada. All right. So, all right, let's see. Yeah, I would say at the top of the hour, 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. Get ready for some major rock action later on. So get ready in 15 minutes or less, but probably 15 minutes. Some major rock and roll excitement. Same to you, Blue Ribbon. Same to you. Cheers.